Kia ora te whānau. When we think about schoolwork, we think about learning, we tend to think about homework, sitting at the table, sort of the hard slide. Really, that's not how the brain gathers information. The human brain's been reading for about 5,000 years. It's been learning through play for at least 100,000 years. Play in lots of ways is the pinnacle of the evolutionary response to creating human intelligence. That's where your brilliance is to be found. Even in our own literature and our own research, we know that children don't benefit from any more, even at school age, than 2.5 hours a day instruction from a teacher. The rest of their learning is all going to happen through sensory integration, what we most commonly think of as play. The number one education system in the world is Finland. We have to, you measure the academic outputs, which country produces the best readers, the best mathematicians. When we measure all of that, the country that often always comes out at the top is Finland. It hasn't always been that way. Finland used to be sort of halfway down the chart, somewhere around America. What did they do to get from halfway down the table to the number one education system in the world? They implemented the research. What we tend to do is to follow what our politicians think is a good idea, or what the public might think is a good idea. What Finland did was said, let's be brave and actually follow what the research tells us. So, the research makes it very, very clear that play is where children learn. The more play you have in early childhood, the more child-directed play in early childhood, the better the academic outcomes when you're 32. The more teacher instruction there is under the age of 7, the less the academic outputs at 32. So what Finland did straight away, the first thing they did was to shorten the school year. You go to school in Finland for less days than you do in any other education system in the world. They've got the shortest school year in the world. Then, because they wanted to create lots of holidays for the children to play, because that's where you actually create intelligence. So shorten the school year. Then, still recognise the importance of play. The school week in Finland, the children go to school for 20 hours a week. So it's a very short week in comparison for us. Then on top of that, they again recognise the importance of play. Lunchtime and playtime were extended. So their response to try and lift the academic outcomes for children in their country were to make them to go to school for less days, when they are at school to be there for less of a part of the week, and when they are only there for that 20 hours, a big chunk of that's going to be lunchtime and playtime. That's how important play is. That's what's helped them to move right up to the number one education system in the world. So academic instruction has some value, but it needs to come on top of play. Play is how children learn. When your child is, say, 4 years old, coming up to school age, and they're in the playhouse, and you think they're wasting time playing because they're picking up a bag and pretending to be dad. And really you think they'd be much better off inside with someone saying, this is the alphabet, you need to learn the alphabet. This is the letter B. B makes a B sound. Learning the letter B makes a B sound. Cognitively, like we've said, you sort of get them ready to be 7. But I need you to understand that what they're doing in the playhouse is more cognitively advanced and does more for their brain than what you're doing, bringing them over to the mat and teaching them how to say the letter B. When the child picks up his briefcase in the playhouse and now pretends to be dad, immediately he holds his body in a different stance, because now he's being dad. So when he holds his body in a different deportment, a different posture, he has to move himself within his own sort of, it's about linking into his vestibular system. His sense of balance and where he is in time and space. That relates to your understanding of mathematics. So holding your body in a different way, activating your vestibular system in that way, just because you're now being dad, already that's relating to this child's cognitive development towards maths and space and numbers. Now that he's being dad, he's going to talk slightly differently. So as well as adjusting his voice, what I think is fascinating in the research is when that child's being dad, they also construct their sentences in completely different ways than when they're just being themselves. And now that's language development. The child is learning about there's more than one way to say one sentence. This is the way I say it, and then when I'm being dad, this is the way dad's saying it. Language development is very, very closely related to cognitive development. The more complex their language, the more complex their cognition, the more intelligent your child is. So simply by picking up dad's briefcase and adjusting their voice and adjusting their body stance, they're doing more for the development of their future national standards grades in maths than they are by you bringing them inside and teaching them how to count to 100. So value play. Play really is the pinnacle of what your child can be doing. Enrich their play. The reality is that under the age of 7, the more child-centered play there is, the more the parent doesn't tell them what to learn, but lets the child decide what they want to learn and just enhances that and helps to make that more complex by supporting the child's play, that's what gets the better outcomes. Some place for academic instruction, and we'll talk throughout other parts of this about where that may become valuable, but put it in a context of play is what makes your child, as a human being, intelligent. Value play. Kia ora te whānau.